Hi everyone. This week I've asked my friend Lorenzo to share with you. I first met Lorenzo back in 2014 when our church ran a Battle of the Bands, and Lorenzo's was the only band that entered with 3 songs they'd written themselves. Everybody else was doing covers. I was very impressed. Soon thereafter, Lorenzo joined our teen worship team, and then he came on board to help train up the junior worship team, which he assisted in taking over when I left. I was very honored when he contacted me last June to say he was writing an album of his own, and as part of the songwriting process, he was asking a few folk to set him some nice, tough life questions that he could use as the inspiration for the songwriting. He wanted to use the process to try and work through some difficult things that had happened in his life. I'll leave him to share more with you.
Good morning, everyone. Greetings all the way from the Western Cape, from Stellenbosch. Chrissy invited me to just share about a little project that I've been working on and what inspired it and how it came to be. And I decided, this will be really fun. So last year in 2020, lockdown occurred around the world. And as it hit in the Western Cape and as it hit in South Africa, I decided in Feb that I wanted to start writing my debut album. I'm a musician, I'm a guitarist and a singer-songwriter, so I thought it would give me a lot of free time to tackle the project that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. I've since decided that I'm not going to be releasing this whole project as one singular album for a host of reasons, but I wanted to share one of the songs that came up on the album that I had written. Initially, the album came about, the idea of the album was just me reflecting on my life and reflecting on my upbringing and some of the experiences that I had. I had a pretty rough upbringing. I grew up in a domestic violence situation. My household was pretty rough. And in 2018, I lost my best friend in a hiking accident, and then later in the same year, while I was writing my finals, I lost my dad as well. And before my dad had passed away, we ended up having a conversation, and our last conversation just so happened to be a pretty rough argument, which kind of sucked. But as I'm writing and as I'm going through this project and, writing songs and trying to figure out what I'm feeling and figure out what I'm going through and working through the grieving process, I've realized many of these songs are almost like letters to my dad and conversations that we never got to have. Some of them are a bit more rough and they're a bit more edgy and aggressive because I'm still dealing with a lot of frustration and stuff like that, but others are kind of sweet and they're kind of nostalgic in a happier way. So I wanted to play a song. The song is called Mully Point. It's basically about my absolute formative years, when I was 2, 3, and just being around my family before things got difficult, before things started to fall apart. So here goes. I remember Mully Point on brighter days. I remember wanting to ride the train. I remember crashing waves on the rocks as the memories fade. I remember Mully Point just the same. And it feels like ocean breeze and my dad's rain-cold nose. And it feels like letting go, not needing control. Those were younger days, responsibility far away. I remember Mully Point just the same. I remember not knowing how to talk, crying trying to get my legs to walk, and it feels like a childish brain that needs to move away. But I remember Molly Point just the same, and it feels like ocean breeze and my dad's wrinkled nose, and it feels like letting go, not needing control. Those were younger days, responsibility far away. I remember Molly Point just the same. I was there the other day, and it looks the same, even though I can't see everything from above. I was there the other day, and it feels the same, even with you looking from above. And it feels like ocean breeze, my dad's wrinkled nose, and it feels like letting go, not needing control. Those were younger days, responsibility far away. I remember Molly Point just the same. I am 20 now, responsibility here to stay. But I remember Molly Point just the same. Hi everyone. So I'm busy walking around in the DLC, just stretching my legs a bit. And Christy just asked me to share a bit about how God's been working through this process, and through the process of writing songs, and through the process of sharing. And I think initially I wanted the project to be all about the darker side of my upbringing and the darker side of my experience. But ultimately, I guess it just so happened to work out that God decided, nope, that's not what you're doing with this project. This project is about healing, and it's about working through your issues, and it's about working through what you're going through, and all the darker side of all the darker things that I've been through. This project basically boiled down to me figuring all of that stuff out and getting closure from it. And I think that's what God intended for this project. He didn't want it just to be me venting and me being frustrated and angsty and anxious and aggressive about all of this, but he wanted me to actually work through it and get through the emotions and feel the full spectrum of grief. I guess God really just takes our plans and turns it into something so much better.
I don't know about you, but there have been things that have happened in my life which I've thought, how do I come back from that? I've watched worse things happen to other people and thought, how on earth will they ever recover from that? What speaks to me out of Lorenzo's story is that God can use some very surprising things to help with the healing process. Often it comes in the form of gifts and talents that he's given us, which he then works alongside us to develop. And we discover things about ourselves that are good, things about our past as we work through that formation of the new gift that help us to come to a much more positive place. I've also seen that the Lord can work through people around us as we join in with new groups, be it on the sports field or at the community center or in a church, and positive life comes back into our mind, into our hearts. One thing I do know is that no matter what you've been through, at that point where you say, Lord, would you come? Would you bring your healing? I don't know how to fix this. He has a way that will be very particular to you because he loves you and he is a good, good Father to those who call on him.